And five, four, three, two, and a one. Cue my intro music.
Sounds right. Sounds right. Sounds right. Sounds right. Sounds right. Sounds right.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Devontae Colonel, and welcome to another episode of the Inspired Challenge podcast. Tonight, we are celebrating day number 27 of 3 days in a 27 days out of 30 days completed. Once tonight is all finished up. That means after tonight, we'll have 3 more days, the 28th, 29th, and 30th, and we will have completed 30 days in a row of podcast live streaming to an audience. So I want to thank everyone as we draw towards the near end here. You guys, show some love on it. If you can, leave a little like, a comment, share it out with whoever you think some of this content will be good for, and give any type of feedback that you may have. All right. So I don't want to waste too much time here. I want to go ahead and get into the sauce of what exactly we're talking about. Because when we last left off on our previous video, which was the 7 pillars of attraction, part 1. Part 7, purpose, part 1. This will be the 7 pillars of attraction, part 7, purpose, part 2. Look at how thorough that name is right there. All right. So when we last left off, we had covered understanding purpose, understanding the ways that it could be influential in the different dynamics, social dynamics, relationship dynamics, dating dynamics. We're going to continue in that spirit. But before we do, some matters that we have to attend to are looking at some modern day examples of who had purpose that fueled their life and changed their life. After that, I'm excited to get into some of these exercises that I have researched and found and be able to give to whoever watches this on a playback. I think these are going to be some exercises that allow for a great amount of insight, a great amount of reflection. If it's not something that you have a tendency to do on your own, I think this is going to do a great job encouraging you, guiding you, and pointing you into the direction you need to go in order to better understand your purpose. So now that I've set the stage, let's go ahead, back it on up and get into it. So when it comes to modern day examples of people who are purpose fueled and driven, someone that we can look at is Paul Pullman. Now, Paul Pullman was the former CEO of Unilever and is a prime example of a modern day leader who was driven by a strong sense of purpose. Pullman transformed Unilever into a company that committed to sustainability and social responsibility. His purpose was to prove that businesses can be a force for good while being profitable. Pullman's leadership not only led to impressive financial performance, but also garnered respect and admiration for his ethical approach to business, right? So, as we can see, this man had a lot of dignity with how he worked, and he was completely mission driven. Now, there's a Bible verse that corresponds to this, and it says, give me a second here to pull it up. It says, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not for human masters. There's some good old Bible knowledge, Bible wisdom right here. And so this was something that I saw and am like, this is perfect as far as what it talks about working it with all your heart, right? So continuing on as we go forward, let's go ahead and look at our next example, which is going to be one Brian Stevenson. So Brian Stevenson was the founder of Equal Justice Initiative, and he has dedicated his life to fighting for justice and equality in American legal systems. His purpose is to defend those most in need, particularly those wrongfully convicted and the marginalized. Stevenson's work has brought attention to racial injustice and the flaws in the criminal justice system, earning him widespread respect and admiration. Now, the Bible verse that supports this, look at this. Y'all are going to see, you're going to love this, right? It says, learn to do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed, take up the cause of the fatherless, plead the case of the widow. Isaiah 1:17. Man, you talk about a Bible verse applicable to a person. This man is literally fighting for the people's rights, oppressed people's rights, or people who are suffering at the hands of an unjust, sometimes legal system when it is unjust. All right. There is distinctions here. Some people deserve to be in jail. Let's be real. All right. So these modern day examples illustrate how a clear and compelling sense of purpose can drive significant achievements and make individuals deeply attractive. Their dedication to their causes, innovative approaches, and resilience in the face of adversity serve as powerful inspirations to others. We've got one more modern day example to look at, all right? And that is Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, who has transformed the company through his visionary leadership and strong sense of purpose. Now, Nadella's purpose is to empower every person and every organization on the planet. That's going to be a big old planet. Dang, you going big, homie. On the planet to achieve more under his leadership. Microsoft has embraced a culture of innovation, inclusivity, and collaboration, which is significantly improving the company's market position and reputation. Hey, what can we say? This person That they're playing a smart game. They're positioning themselves well. Now, his approach has earned him admiration and respect in the business world. So, the Bible verse that corresponds to this says, nope, previous one. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. Ah, beautiful, beautiful. Love to see it. Let's go ahead and continue on here. So, like I said, I am excited to get into some of these exercises that help for people to discover their purpose if you are someone who has not done this already. So, prepare yourself. First up, we're going to get into an exercise known as, oh, nope, not that one. The first exercise we're going to get into is the self reflection exercise. Well, exercises to discover your purpose. And the first one will be the Ikigai exercise. Say that again one more time. Ikigai. Bring it back. Ikigai. So when we get into the Ikigai, right? The Ikigai is this chart that you see before you here. Now, when it comes to the Ikigai, here's how it works. I got it laid out with the text on the screen, all right? So the objective is to find the intersection of what you love, what you are good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. That is the purpose of this entire circle here. Continuing on, the instructions are as follows. Now, if you want to come back at some point, pause the video right here. You're going to draw 4 circles that are overlapping each other on a piece of paper. And you're going to label them as follows. And you see it on the chart there, okay? So you're going to label it what you love as the top one in green, what you are good at is going to be another circle, and make sure it's off to the full side of it because these are going to be differentiating pieces. So, for example, you can see what you are good at is to the far left of the bubble on the left. Then you're going to put what the world needs. What the world needs is going to go to the far right of the bubble. And then what you can get paid for is going to be at the very bottom. The placement of these is important because the intersections that these bubbles have with each other and with the other bubbles as it comes matter when it comes to figuring out this idea of ikigai, aka purpose. So let me continue on here. And bear with me because I got a lot of little pieces here. All right. So I got to kind of scroll through and find it. So next up, you're going to fill in each circle in what you love. So you are going to literally write. So when it comes to this is a empty ikigai circle. So you see how the line points, each box points to a line. So imagine that whatever you labeled each box here, whether it's the box in the upper left pointing to what you love, the box in the lower left is pointing to what you are good at, the box in the lower right is pointing to what you can get paid for, and then the box in the upper right is pointing to what the world needs. You're going to write in those circles subjects that you are passionate about. And so specifically in the what you love circle, write down activities and subjects that you are passionate about. And in the what you are good at, list your skills, talents, and things that you are having strengths in. Next up, when it comes to finding overlapping areas, so this is, and there are layers to this, okay? Not just every overlapping, every piece, because like I said, this is the ikigai. This is the 4-place overlap. You're going to find surface overlapping areas. Look at the intersections of the circles. The overlap of all 4 circles is your ikigai or your purpose. And this is where your passion, skills, societal needs, and potential income come from. And as you can see here, right, when it comes to these different circles, if you have what you love as well as what you're good at, the two of them together can equal your passion. Now, if you have what the world needs and what you love, that can be your mission. If you have what the world needs and what you can get paid for, that's your vocation. And if you have what you can get paid for and what you're good at, that's your profession. Now, some of these can start to intersect to 3 points if you look even closer, but it's hard for me to see because the screen is a little bit further away. There are sections where they intersect three of them, and these threes say something. Feel free to pause the video, zoom in if you can see it better. I can't see it. But then where all four of them meet up, that is our ikigai. Bam. And it's pretty sweet, man, if you can find something that fits all four of those. So you want to reflect and refine, spend some time reflecting on the areas of overlap because they will provide insight. It might be interesting to know what a vocation could be if you just need to make money. What are the needs that are there in the world and what can you get paid for? Maybe you don't need what you love and you don't need what you're good at. You should probably do something you're good at, though, because if you do something you're not good at, you're gonna get fired. Woo! Where's my little yeah, that one was too serious. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so let's continue, shall we? And the thought that comes with this is a verse that says, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good work, which God prepared in advance for us." And I think that is captured so well when it comes to these ideas of these overlapping areas that we can look at. God has given us all talents, things that we naturally love, things that we can get paid for, and things that the world needs. It's just, we just need to figure out what those things are. Now, let me see what we have coming up next here. And again, I say, bear with me, folks, because I have so many pieces here. All right. Let me make sure that this is where we are really quick here. Also, this is where it comes in so obvious that this is a one-man show. All right. So, yes, we've gone over everything regarding the Ikigai circle. This circle right here, go back to it, fill it out, and really harshly consider it to yourselves. So, next up, we're going to look at the 5 whys. The 5 whys. What are the 5 whys, Devontae? What is that, man? Come on, help us out here. Okay. Don't kill me. Don't kill me. Just back off. Just wait. Hold on a second. Just hold on. Just calm down. Okay. So when it comes to the 5 whys, all right, so this is your 5 whys. Now, the objective is to uncover the deeper motivations behind your actions and your desires. Right? Okay, why do you do the things you do? Oh, that's why. And why is that? All right, so the way that this works is you want to identify a goal or a desire, and you want to write down a specific goal or desire that you have. And this could be related to your career, personal life, or any area where you seek purpose. Now, here's a fun fact. Businesses actually used the 5 whys when they have issues with whether it's customer retention, declining sales, a plethora of things. This is a tactic that is used in order to figure out why are things happening in a way that don't lead to either growing numbers, growing sales, growing customer retention, whatever the case may be. They look at these 5 whys and they dig deep. So let's continue to dig deep ourselves. So you're going to ask why 5 times. And for each answer you provide, you will ask yourself why and write down your response. And you're going to repeat this process 5 times to dig deeper into your own motivations. So let's keep going now. So here's an example, right? Let's say example one, your first why. I want to start a nonprofit, right? So that is where it starts up here at the top. Why? Wait, what was my base thing? My bad, y'all. I forgot it. Okay, anyways, I want to start a nonprofit organization is your first why. And then your second why is because I want. So the answer to the question is what do you want to do? Or why do you want to do something? I want to start a nonprofit organization. Why do you want to start a nonprofit organization? This is how you think about it in your head. I want to start a nonprofit organization because I want to help underprivileged children. The third why. Why do you want to help underprivileged children? I want to help underprivileged children because I believe every child deserves an opportunity to succeed. Why do you believe that every child deserves an opportunity to succeed? Because I believe every child deserves an opportunity to succeed because giving back makes me feel fulfilled and purposeful. The fifth why. So, why do you believe that giving back makes you feel fulfilled and purposeful? Because I want to make a positive impact. So, at the end of the 5 whys, everything ultimately boiled down to this person wanted to make an impact in the world. From making an impact in the world, they then branched out and had this ultimate goal of what they wanted to do. So you can see how when we go back to the first why, right? The first why was the first why was I want to start a nonprofit organization, and it ends with I'm changing something here. Oh, excuse me. Oh no, what have I done? What have I done? What have I done? Oh, I scrolled down too far, y'all. Hold up now. Oh yeah, I scrolled way down. Oh my goodness, I'm getting into future methods and everything. Okay. Because it makes me feel because I want to make a positive impact. So I want to make a positive impact led ultimately to I want to start a nonprofit organization. So let's continue. When it comes to the 5 whys, you want to analyze your answers and look at the fifth why. This usually reveals your core purpose or your underlying motivation. And you can reflect on this core purpose and see how this core purpose aligns with your current actions and goals. So, what this means is if you have a core purpose, is your core purpose and the way that you are currently on track aligning together, or are your actions and your goals that you have nothing to do with your fundamental core purpose? If there is a disconnect in there, you need to stop and think. Otherwise, you may find yourself very shortly in the future making a strong pivot to something that is more in line with your true purpose. It's not a bad thing if you have to go and take a moment to step into something that is a placeholder, but don't become complacent in that thing, right? So you want to create an action plan based on your core purpose and write down actionable steps you can take to align your life with this deeper motivation. That's the truth, the whole truth, and I'm sticking to it. Can I get an amen? Hey, okay, that's what I'm talking about now. All right, so A Bible verse that speaks to this says, "The purpose of a person's heart are deep waters, but one who has insight draws them out." How beautiful is Proverbs 20, verse 5? If people's hearts are so complex and so deep rooted, and they go so much more underneath the surface than what we're going to think just from, oh, why do you want to do this thing? Because I think it's really nice to do this thing. Ask yourself that question of why 5 times layered on top of each answer that you give, and you will get to something that is intrinsically much deeper than just you want to. And the Bible tells us that the one who has this insight draws them out. I love it. I love it. So, the next exercise that we're going to look at is going to be the life timeline. Let us go ahead and put that up. Here it is. So, you see, now this particular person was born on April 21st, and then they went to school or something like that. I can't see the screen. They did this, they got their license, da 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 da. Okay, great, great. So, what you're going to do is you're going to create a timeline, and you're going to draw a horizontal line across a large piece of paper and mark the beginning of the line as your birth and the current date at the end. Next up, you're going to identify key events, and you're going to mark significant events in your life along the timeline, including both positive and negative experiences that have shaped you. Again, this person was born, they had something happen in 91, then they had something happen in 96, then 2007, then 2009, 2013. Nothing happened in their life between 2009 to 2013. Wow. Okay, continuing. You're going to analyze patterns. And in these patterns, you're going to look for any type of pattern or reoccurring themes in your timeline. And you're going to really think about what activities, relationships, or experience brought you to the most joy, fulfillment, and growth. Now, reflect on these challenges you faced and how you overcame them, and what strengths or values did you rely on in those moments. So, real quick, when it comes to this, hold on, put me full screen. Bam, there we go. Take away this thing right here. Okay, I hope I don't forget which one it was. So, I take on this exercise on a very regular basis without even thinking about it. I will look at moments in the past from my first job up to what I'm doing right now with the podcast, and I will look at what did I do with my first jobs that made significant impacts on my work experience. Where did I get a standout moment in working with Pilot Flying J? It was when I was terrible at a job, and my night shift manager was like, "Dude, you're an awesome person. You like talking to the customers, but that's a problem too, because now you're not getting any of your tasks done." And so I had to figure out, how am I going to get these tasks done and also have good customer service, and also make sure that there is everything being satisfied and me and him have a cool relationship. And little by little, I worked on getting a little bit faster, talking to people a little bit more precisely, going immediately from a conversation into an action. Or if a customer wanted to talk, I would be talking to them while wiping something down, and I got better at it. So these are some of the ways that I looked at my strengths. So he told me that I had a strength of customer conversation. He also said that I could work quickly, but I let myself get distracted. So I had to figure out how to mix them, and I was able to do that. So, number 4, you want to identify core themes. What are some core themes within your life event? Write them down and see what core themes and values emerge from your analysis. And these could be things like helping others, creativity, leadership, learning, etc. Like I said, in my case, it was my strengths were I could move quickly, I could talk to people, but how could I do these things in a way that was highly productive? Well, I learned how to do it. And because I learned how to do it, I was able to now have an environment where we had a mostly happy customer base that would come in, good conversations, people that were looking out for us. And we also had a very good looking night shift. Me and him were thought to be something like the dream team of the store. If I do say so myself, you know what I'm saying? Okay, continuing. Number 5, you want to connect to your purpose, right? You want to reflect on how these can inform your purpose and consider how you can incorporate these values and strengths into your future. So, like I said, I had the ability to talk to people and connect, and I could also get tasks done quickly. Now, let's transition that over to this podcast thing. When I look at the podcast thing, obviously I'm connecting with people, goes without saying, networking, church events, regular social out gatherings, the list goes on, right? So obviously that has maintained into what I'm doing now. And then when we look at me being able to get tasks done, I can get XYZ done, but guess what? I still get caught in some of the same traps. It's true. It's true. I've evolved, but not significantly. Okay, so if I let myself get caught too much on the conversation or the social aspect of this podcast thing, there is no growth that will happen because podcasting is not just getting on a camera and talking for a little while. You have to schedule things. You have to follow up. You have to network. You have to retain information. If you don't follow up in a quick enough time, guess what? People aren't going to remember you. They're going to deprioritize you. They're going to lower you as far as networking importance. So the time frame that you do this in matters a lot. Guess what? A show like what I'm doing right now, where I have these little graphics up and I have the little quotes to put up, all of this stuff takes time. And guess what? It took more time than I've ever spent on a show in my life to make this particular episode right here. So if you could leave a like, leave a love, leave a comment. Let me know that this thing right here is given some kind of value because I'm telling you, it's 11:30-ish at night, and this wasn't easy. So we want to set purposeful goals, right? And hold on, let me make sure that I'm not just skipping completely ahead of the entire presentation as it comes here. Hold up. Okay. Yeah, we're right on target here. We want to set purposeful goals. We are going to get into setting reasonable goals and a step-by-step guide. So let me just make sure here that I'm not jumping any guns. So based on your reflections, set specific purposeful goals that align with the core themes you identified with. And you can write down actionable steps to achieve these goals. All right. And a Bible verse that's relevant here says, in their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. Proverbs 16:9. And these self reflection exercises provide a structured approach to discover your purpose by integrating your purpose along with an ordered system. It got cut off at right here. So I love this verse because it talks plainly that we can try and plan our steps, but the Lord ultimately is going to be what establishes our steps, right? So we make a plan. God is going to say, I know how you're ordered. I know what you love. I know what the world needs. I know what you're good at. And I know what you can get paid for. And we can make our plan and he's just going to carry us based off of how he built us. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So these self-reflection exercises provide a structured approach to discovering your purpose by integrating personal passions, skills, values, with actionable steps guided by biblical wisdom. Ah, isn't that lovely? Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Let's continue. So, another verse says, search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. All right, now I'm skipping ahead a little bit. Okay, let me go back over to my presentation. So, based on the reflections, let me come back down here real quick. So, we're going to now talk about setting reasonable goals in a step-by-step guide fashion. All right. So, when it comes to setting reasonable goals, it is essential for achieving success and maintaining motivation. And here's how to set goals that are both challenging and attainable. Because guess what? If a goal is not challenging, you're going to get bored with it. If it's not attainable, you're going to lose motivation for it. Challenging and attainable is just enough to give you a dopamine hit, let you know that you can do it, and give you motivation to keep going for the next one. So, the first one you're going to want to do is I don't think I have graphics for this, by the way, guys. Sorry, I ran out of time. Today was a busy day. Continuing. Where's my little yeah. So, defining your goal clearly. Specificity is going to be key to, oh, wait, let me make sure this is off the screen here. Okay, good stuff. So, specificity is going to be key to setting a reasonable goal, and clearly defining what you want to achieve helps you to focus your efforts and understand the steps needed to reach your goal. So, be specific instead of setting a vague goal like get fit, which everybody says that on January 1st. Am I right? Am I right? You know what I'm saying? Y'all are with me. Come on, my Jan 1sters, and then out of the gym by like February 4th. Okay. Instead of get fit, specify what you mean. For example, say, I want to lose 10 pounds in 3 months, or I want to run a 5K race in 6 months, right? You want to identify the outcome, clearly state the desired outcome of your goal. What will success look like? This is going to help you in measuring progress and knowing when the goal is achieved. For example, I want to read 12 books in the next 6 months. Now, a Bible verse that's relevant here, which I wish I had put on the doggone little screens here to pop up as a little orange little tablet right here, says, write the vision and make it plain on tablets that he may run who reads it. Actually, you know what? Let me see real quick. Can I do a little? Hold on, y'all. We might be able to insert this thing right here. Let me see. Let me see real quick here. Oh, can I do it? No. It would mess up. It would mess up the order of everything else. Okay. So write the vision and make it plain on tablets that he may run who reads it. Habakkuk verse 2:2. So next up, we have make your goals measurable. So, a measurable goal allows you to track your progress and stay motivated. And by setting clear criteria for success, you can evaluate how far you've come and what still needs to be done. So, you want to quantify your goal, use numbers and dates and other concrete criteria to define your goal. This makes it easier to track progress and stay on course. So, for example, that 10 pounds by 3 months, break that down. That's 1 pound every month, or 3 pounds every 1 month, which means you should be losing about a pound, a little less than a pound every week. This is how you can break it down. You want to set milestones, right? Break your goal into smaller, manageable milestones. And this helps in maintaining motivation and provides a sense of accomplishment as you achieve each step, as I was just saying. So, I will read 2 books each month for the next 6 months. Bible verse that says this says that the plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. That is Proverbs 21:5. The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance. Look at that. When the Bible tells you that if you are diligent in your planning, it will surely lead. There are very few places where the Bible guarantees you something besides your salvation from believing in Jesus. There are very few places that the Bible guarantees some other thing. It guarantees you struggles, hardships. It guarantees you salvation if you continue on the good path. But this right here says if you are diligent, it will surely lead to abundance. Jeez, who wouldn't want that? So, you want to ensure your goal is achievable, as we said. Setting an achievable goal means considering your current resources, time, and abilities. So, for example, me, let's go and look at me in the podcast, for example. I set an achievable goal. I said I wanted to get to 1,000 subscribers in a year. And if I could, 4,000 watch time hours in a year. I hit one of those goals. I got to 1,000 subscribers in a year. I am still working on the 4,000 watch time hours. That is my year 2 goal. So if you're watching this right now, make sure you're coming back, watching the other content, help run up those watch time hours. You know what I'm saying? Get your friends to do it too. Continuing. So while it's important to aim high, your goal should be realistic given your circumstances, right? So assess your resources and evaluate the time, effort, and resources that you have available. Make sure that your goal is realistic with these constraints in mind. And you have to be honest about your ability. So consider your current skill level and knowledge and set a goal that challenges you, but is still within reach with effort and persistence. So, was it reasonable for me to get thousands of watch time hours based off of the quality of audio I had, the quality of set design that I had, the quality of visual that I had? 4,000 watch time hours? Probably not. But was it realistic to get a number of people that heard a clip or a few clips and say, hey, that's a pretty cool clip right there. I think I'll follow along because I like the idea behind that clip. Yeah. So, an example here is I have an hour free each day that I can dedicate to reading, making it possible to read 2 books per month. All right. And a Bible verse that speaks to this is Luke 14:28, which says, for which of you intending to build a tower does not sit down first and count the cost, whether he has enough to finish it? So remember, right? We talked about having your resources on point here, understanding your actual abilities, understanding what your skill and knowledge level is. Count the cost first, as the Bible gives you the wisdom in. I'm telling you, man, this thing right here got some nuggets here. Let me see where the heck I am with this presentation, too. Let's see here. Okay, I think we're still working our way down here. Okay. We're gonna continue. So you want to make your goal relevant. A relevant goal aligns with your broader objectives, values, and long term plans, AKA your purpose. Ensuring relevance increases your commitment and the likelihood of achieving the goal. Remember, the overarching concept of what we're talking about here is purpose, right? This is all underneath the umbrella of purpose, and purpose for the idea, not the only purpose of attraction, but how purpose is integrated into attraction. So this is just a subplot that we're going down in how to establish your purpose and some of the sub-train thoughts that go into that. I wanted to make this as well-rounded as possible. So when it comes to making your goal relevant, you want to align them with your values. Your goal should reflect your personal values and long term aspirations. This assignment makes it meaningful and motivates you to pursue it. Right. And then you want to connect to larger objectives. So ensure that your goal fits in with your larger plans and contributes to your overall growth and development. So, for example, reading more books will enhance my knowledge and support my career development in the long run. That would fit within a thought process of why you want to read 12 books in 6 months. So, a Bible verse that speaks to this says, and we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. Oh, hold up. I got a little, I got a thing in here that, let me see if I can share that. Yes, sir. Nope, that ain't it. Whoopsie. Hold up. Nope. Sorry, y'all. Anyways, we continue. So next up, we have, and that was Romans 8:28. And we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. So next up, you want to set a time deadline, right? So a time bound goal has a clear deadline, and this helps to create a sense of urgency and keeps you focused. So you want to specify a deadline, set a realistic deadline for achieving your goal, and this will help to prevent procrastination and keeps you on track. Right? You want to plan for regular reviews and you want to schedule regular check ins in order to assess your progress and make adjustments. So, for example, I will complete my goal of reading 12 books by December 31st. A Bible verse that corresponds to this says, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the suns. Ecclesiastes 3:1. So, there is a time for planning, there is a time for a deadline, there is a time for the activities that move you closer to a goal, there is a time for your responsibilities. It just takes, as we heard before, a diligent person in order to get to that abundance. So, by following these steps, you can set reasonable goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Or you can set reasonable goals that are smart. Get it? Smart. I didn't make this up. I wish I could take credit, but I can't. This is something that's been established in the personal training world as well. SMART, the acronym spells out SMART, and the words are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. This structured approach increases your chances of success and it helps you stay motivated and focus on your objectives. Yes, sir. We know that's what we want. Okay, let's keep it going. Here we go. And as we talk about steps, you know what Bible verse comes back to mind again? In their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. Proverbs 16:9. So these self-reflection exercises provide a structured way for discovering your purpose by integrating personal passion. Oh my goodness, we kind of went back a little bit in there. That's all good. That's all good because we did not cover a lot of that right there. So, all right. Next up, we get to setting aligned goals. So, once a purpose is identified, setting goals that align with the purpose is crucial. This alignment ensures sustained motivation and progress. And a Bible verse that supports this says, the Lord makes firm the steps of the one who delights in him. Psalms 37:23. So before we were talking about how the Lord will establish your steps, and now we're seeing that the Lord will make firm the steps of the one who delights in him. So trust him to establish your steps and then delight in him, and he will make your steps firm. Now, we move on to continuous growth. So, continuous growth emphasizes the importance of adaptation along with growing. Purpose can evolve, and staying flexible allows individuals to grow with their goals. Now, we have to talk about staying relevant and competitive when it comes to something like purpose, right? This is relevant in fields of personal development, career advancement, and relationships. All right. So, when it comes to, okay, Let's go ahead and look at here. So, in an ever changing world, staying relevant and competitive requires continuous growth and adaptation. Think the person in 2008 that was on Facebook is not the same person that's doing exactly as well as the person in 2024 who's on TikTok or Instagram. The person in 1995 that was using Amazon as a bookstore is going to be insanely surprised by Amazon being used for an absolutely everything else store nowadays. So this is again going to continuous growth and adaptation. When we look at personal development, continuous growth ensures that individuals are always improving their skills, expanding their knowledge, and refining their abilities. And this helps them to stay current with new development and technologies, which makes them more adaptable and resourceful. When we look at career advancement in the professional realm, industries evolve and new challenges will emerge. So, those who commit to lifelong learning and adaptability can seize new opportunities and remain valuable to employers and advance in their careers. Some people are gonna be, they are gonna be in career fields, and you're going to have to be willing to learn continuously. Otherwise, you're going to have some newcomer that's going to, upstage you. And in relationships, of course, personal relationships, growth and adaptation allow individuals to better understand and respond to the needs and changes of their partners, friends, and family. And this fosters stronger and more resilient relationships. Oh, finally, I am able to get back onto a Bible verse that's relevant. Let's go. Okay, next up, we have a Bible verse that speaks to this, and it says, let's go. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. Romans 2:12. This tells us don't just become used to doing whatever the world is doing. Let it be renewed by God's spirit, right? So if God has a purpose for you, his goal is for you to be a good worker. So in being a good worker, one of the biggest things of being a Christian that walks in the faith is that you are constantly studying the word so that way your knowledge never fades on how to walk in the word, right? And similarly, if you take that similar studious spirit that you have as a Christian and you apply it to your skill set, now that you understand your ikigai, right, what I'm saying, it's all tying together. Oh, let's go. What I'm saying, start this all tying together, then you will be able to stay relevant and competitive. Let's continue. So, when it comes to building resilience and overcoming challenges, continuous growth and adaptation build resilience, and it enables individuals to better navigate and overcome challenges. Resilience is growth, and it involves learning from experience, both positive and negative. And this process helps individuals develop resilience, the ability to bounce back from setbacks and face future challenges with greater strength and determination. Now, it also helps with problem solving. So, adaptation fosters creative problem solving skills, right? And when you're faced with new or unforeseen obstacles, adaptable individuals can think outside the box and devise innovative solutions and adjust their strategies as needed. It also helps with emotional strength. So, continuous growth enhances emotional intelligence, helping individuals to manage stress, cope with adversity, and maintain a positive outlook even in difficult times. A Bible verse that corresponds to this. Oh my goodness. Please tell me that I put this verse in here. Oh my goodness. If I didn't do it, I will be so disappointed. Oh, the disappointment is coming. I don't have it here. I don't. Oh, wait, I do have it, but it got cut off. All right. Well, okay. So what's coming up is it says, and you know what? Here, I will put it up, what I do have here. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. James chapter 1, verses 2 through 4. So, as we talked about emotional strength, problem solving, these are things that you get through resiliency and continuous growth. Love it, love it, love it. Now, when it comes to fulfilling potential and achieving purpose, first of all, let me get this little bubble off the screen here, right? Okay. So, continuous growth and adaptation are essential for fulfilling one's potential and achieving one's purpose, which is where we started all of this from, right? Big old rabbit hole, I know. Self actualization, right? Personal growth leads to self actualization. If you go back to the first video, and by the first video, I mean 7 pillars of attraction, part 7, purpose, part 1. Love my titles, don't you? Ooh, yes, sir. um, we talked about self actualization and how it's at the very tip top of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and how in today's society where your basic needs are covered and then after that your secondary and tertiary needs are met, so your three bottom rungs of pyramid, many people are at the phase where they're looking to understand their self-actualization, and they're realizing that self-actualization, which is the understanding of oneself in full, understanding your purpose, is what they are lacking in, right? So, personal growth leads to self actualization, where individuals reach their full potential and find deeper meaning in their lives. This journey involves continuously setting and achieving goals. See again previously where we talked about challenging yet attainable goals and pushing beyond comfort zones and embracing new experiences. So when we look at purpose, so adapting to change and growing consistently allows individuals to align their actions with their purpose. They can refine their understanding of what truly matters to them and pursue it with greater clarity and commitment. And then contribution, right? This is another thing that came up when we looked at what is necessary in a healthy relationship. Contribution that matters, meaningful contribution is something that I pointed out. And this is growth and adaptation enables individuals to make meaningful contributions to their communities, workplace, and the world. And by continually developing their skills and knowledge, they can offer valuable insights, support, and innovations that benefit others. So on the previous video, I talked about how people say, what do you bring to the table? What are your contributions to something that you're doing? You know, all these things that people are now looking at and challenging each other on. But it's not just what are your contributions, it is what are your meaningful contributions? What are the things that have something that help with developing communities or workplaces, right? Because you can contribute a bad attitude. That ain't necessary. That might get a big old watch out. This person's about to maybe contribute something we don't want. Run. So, a Bible verse that speaks to this. Oh my golly, I have this one as well. Hold up, hold up. We got another one. We're on a streak right now, folks. And it says, oh, is this one too? Wait, is it this one? Yes, it is. But the path of the righteous is like the light of dawn, which shines brighter and brighter until full day. Proverbs 4:8. So when we talk about meaningful contribution, to be specific on what this is, biblically speaking, I'm referring to something that is a light of dawn that's shining brighter and brighter until the time comes where it's fully bright all over. That is a meaningful contribution that I am defining with biblical ideals. So let's continue. I already did that one. Okay. I think I'm reaching the end of everything that I had over here. So we're going to continue though, because there is more. By staying relevant and competitive and building resilience and overcoming challenges and fulfilling potential and achieving purpose, continuous growth and adaptation are vital for living meaningful, impactful lives. Let me go through that small list again. By staying relevant and competitive, building resilience and overcoming challenges. So if you feel bored in life, you may not be in the process of building resilience, or you may not be in the process of overcoming challenges. And by fulfilling potential and achieving purpose, so are you bringing out the full essence of what you have to offer? And are you significantly leaning into the thing that your purpose is? And we've defined purpose, we figured out how to learn about purpose. Between all of these things, this will lead to a meaningful and an impactful life. And guess what? This will ultimately be highly attractive when a partner sees someone that has these things going for themselves. So let's talk about purpose in relationships, shall we? Let's talk about a shared purpose. So, when we discuss the power of shared purpose in relationships, when partners have aligned or complementary purposes, their bond strengthens and mutual support becomes more profound. Look at that. Don't we just love it? Amos 3:3 in the Bible. That's Amos. Amos. Chapter 3, verse 3 says, do two walk together unless they have agreed to do so? So, this verse highlights the importance of agreement and unity in relationship. Walking together in harmony implies sharing a common purpose and vision. When partners agree on their goals and values, they can move forward together effectively, supporting and encouraging each other. Another Bible verse says that two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. And if either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. And this is Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verses 9 through 10. So we see here that you can get with someone that has a different purpose, or you guys don't have a shared purpose together, but uh biblical wisdom would encourage you to walk with someone that you actually have shared purpose with instead of conflicting purpose with. Now let's continue. When it comes to supporting each other's goals, now in a relationship, supporting each other's purposes and goals is crucial, right? So this mutual support fosters respect, admiration, and deeper emotional connection. First Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 11 says, therefore encourage one another and build each other up, just as in fact you are doing. So for example, my wife's a doctor. When she gets home, one way that I encourage her, I say, hi, how you doing, honey? I have a delicious meal made. She's all happy and whatnot. We can watch a little something, get a little cuddly on the couch, and she can be happy to, be served and have me love on her when she gets done with work. So that is one way I encourage her. And then, she's a words of affirmation person. So I will speak positively to her, ask her about how things went, listen to how she helped out a certain patient, praise her for that. And then similarly, she'll ask me about the podcast. Hey, how was your interview with someone? Hey, how was your live stream that you did by yourself? And she may say things that are encouraging there. She certainly supports the podcast. She encourages me to get any of the assets that I need. I just literally today received another camera video switcher that's going to allow me to have two cameras. Guess what? No more front only camera. We're going to start having angles that can get different angles of guests. I'm so excited, you guys. Continuing now. This is about you, not me. So, this verse highlights the importance of agreement and unity in relationships. Walking together in harmony implies sharing a common purpose and vision. And when partners agree on their goals and values, they can move forward together effectively, supporting and encouraging each other. Now, when it comes to purpose and parenting, right? Woo! This right here, this is where the rubber meets the road. Let's get it. So, attraction now. We bring it on home. Purposeful men often make better parents. Point blank, period. They provide a sense of direction and stability, which is essential for raising well rounded children. The Bible says, start children off on the way they should go, and even when they are old, they will not turn from it. Purposeful men often make better parents because they bring a sense of direction, commitment, and resilience to their parenting roles. Numerous studies and statistics support this claim, highlighting the positive impacts of purpose driven fatherhood on children's development and family well being. Now, I thought it would be maybe a little nice to look at some things that support this idea. So I'm going to just go on a little rattling spree here, okay? So, when it comes to the father's role in children's academic achievement, a study published in the journal Child Development found that children with engaged, purposeful fathers tend to perform better academically. The study analyzed data from over 10,000 students and found that those whose fathers were involved in their education had higher grades and better school attendance records. Now, here are some statistical findings. Children with highly involved fathers were 43% more likely to earn mostly A's in school. Regular father involvement was associated with a 39% decrease in the likelihood of repeating a grade. That's some big numbers there, folks. The explanation for this is that purposeful fathers are more likely to be engaged in their children's education. They prioritize academic support and create an environment that values learning, which translates to better academic outcomes for their children. Now, let's look at some emotional and behavioral benefits of this purposeful father again, right? This is still in the context of purpose and attraction. So, this purposeful father, the Journal of Marriage and Family published a study examining the impact of father involvement on children's behavioral problems. The research included a sample of 6,000 families. 6,000 families. So, imagine if four people to a family, that's anywhere from 18,000 to 24,000 humans who could speak to this. And they found a strong correlation between father engagement and reduced behavioral issues in children. Here are the statistical findings. Children with active and purposeful fathers exhibited 30% fewer behavioral problems. These children were 25% less likely to engage in delinquent behavior during adolescence. That's pretty significant. The explanation is that purposeful fathers provide consistent guidance. Which one do I want to use for that one? Consistent guidance and discipline. Ooh, what's that? What's that thing the Bible verse said? Do not spare the rod. Yes, sir. And this helped children develop better self control and social skills. Their presence and involvement create a stable environment that reduces the likelihood of behavioral issues. So let's talk about the psychological. So we've talked about the academics, we talked about the behavioral, but now what is their mental like? What is their psychological well being like? So the influence of purposeful fatherhood on children's psychological health has this to say. So, research conducted by the American Psychological Association explored the relationship between father involvement and children's psychological well being. And the study followed 4,000 children over a period of 10 years, assessing their mental health and emotional stability. This was the statistical findings. Children with purposeful fathers had a 20% lower risk of developing anxiety and depression. And these children also reported higher levels of life satisfaction and self esteem. Which one do I want to use? So, purposeful fathers are often more emotionally involved and supportive. They foster a secure attachment, which is crucial for children's psychological development. This emotional stability provided by engaged fathers helps children navigate challenges and develop a positive self image. Mm. So we have behavioral, academic, psychological. How about their social development when it comes to actually integrating and talking with other people, right? So let's get into it. Father involvement and children's social competence. Now, a longitudinal study, let me say that word again. A longitudinal study published in Social Development examined the effects of father involvement on children's social competence. The study tracked 2,500 children from early childhood to adolescence. Children with highly involved fathers demonstrated 28% higher social competence, and these children were 35% more likely to form healthy peer relationships. Ooh, it's also good. It's like a little, hmm. Let's give that a nice little old one time for the purposeful fathers. So, purposeful fathers, here's the explanation for it. Purposeful fathers model positive social behavior and they encourage their children to engage in social activities. This involvement helps to the children to develop essential social skills such as empathy, cooperation, and conflict resolution. Now, let's see what something like the economics look like, right? Economic stability and resource availability. So, a study published in the Future of Children journal examined the economic outcomes of children with engaged, purposeful fathers. The research data for the research data included data from 8,000 families over 15 years. That's a large study and a long study. And it found that children with purposeful fathers were 40% more likely to attain higher education. These children had a 32% higher chance of securing stable employment as adults. The explanation for this: purposeful fathers often emphasize the importance of education and career planning. They provide not only financial support, but also guidance and mentorship, which help children achieve economic stability and success in adulthood. Now, when it comes to being a purposeful father, a lot of what we looked at before talked about purpose in terms of what they should be doing with their lives. But what was just explained here was a very important piece of the puzzle as well. So this mentioned not only financial support, but that means one of the things was financial support. So think about fathers that don't contribute financial support. That is going to immediately make a difference. Now, another piece of being a purposeful father is providing guidance. Now, guidance, not necessarily friendship. What type of ship, though? Mentorship. So, financial support, guidance, and mentorship. These are elements present in a purposeful father, not just a father that is doing well for himself, but has the ability to embody these three traits as listed. The conclusion here, the evidence is clear. Go back in for the past 10, 15 minutes. Purposeful men often make better parents, and their involvement positively impacts their children's academic performance, emotional and behavioral health, social development, and economic outcomes. By bringing a sense of direction, commitment, and resilience to their parenting roles, purposeful fathers create a nurturing and supportive environment that fosters their children's overall well being. So, the coup de grace, what I prepare to send you all off with into the night. Yes, yes, I know. It's been a great adventure, but everything must come to an end. So, let me give you all this closing piece here. Psych. Y'all thought we were done? No, sir. Hit him with your no, sir. We ain't done. What? Because you know what we haven't really covered here is life. Life is real. You know what I'm saying? Life is a little, it has the tendency to kind of creep up on you and hit you with that little surprise. What's going on? I'm trying to live in my purpose, but there's things happening that I don't like. Wait, hold up. What's this resistance? Resistance? What kind of resistance? Something like a barrier? Barrier? What's that? Okay. Let's get to it, shall we? So, exercises to identify barriers to finding and living in your purpose. The first thing I want to hyper emphasize here is to always look for a mentor when coming against a barrier, someone who has crossed the path already, because it's better to walk in wise footsteps than to wade through unknown waters. Now, with that being said, the first thing to look at when it comes to overcoming barriers to finding and living in your purpose are as follows. So, number one, you want to look at reflective journaling. Oh, I'm so sad I didn't add these things to the little tablet thing, the little bubbles. So, you know what? Let me see how much time it takes me to do a little copy. And then if I go and add, let me just see how much time this takes. Let's see if I create a new one there. Exercise one, reflective journey. That took way too much time. Ain't no way I'm doing all that each time for the next 40 lines. No, sir. Ain't gonna happen. So we're just gonna go straight through. So to uncover internal barriers through self-reflection, that is the goal, that is the objective, is to uncover internal and external barriers through self-reflection and written expression. So here are the steps that you want to take. Doggone it. These are some, okay, I think this will provide value for you guys, so I'll do it. So you want to set aside time and dedicate 20 to 30 minutes each day for reflective journaling, right? So here you go. I'm going to do it because I think it provides value. Set aside time and dedicate 20 to 30 minutes each day for reflective journaling. So, and here's going to be some prompts for reflection. Prompts for reflection will be: what activities make me feel the most fulfilled and why? And I'm also going to copy and paste these for y'all here as well. All right. Oh, it cut it off a little bit. Doggone it. Don't you just hate when it does that? Okay. What activities make me feel the most fulfilled and why? What fears or doubts do I have about pursuing these activities? Are there any reoccurring themes or patterns in my life that hold me back? These are all prompts for reflections to ask yourself. Now, when it comes to identity barriers, right? Let's look at identity barriers here. So we're coming back over here. Identity barriers. As you write, look for recurring themes such as fear of failure, lack of confidence, or external constraints like time or resources. Next up, you want to analyze and plan. So, with this of analyzing and planning, you want to, here we go. Next bubble coming up, folks. You want to, with analyzing and planning, identify at least one barrier and brainstorm ways to address or overcome it. Write down actionable steps. So, a Bible verse that speaks to this is: search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Psalm 139:23. This verse is good because when you look at these things involving barriers, many of these things with barriers, right? They have to do with what makes you feel fulfilled and why. You know, we practiced the 5 whys earlier when it came to purpose. What are fears or doubts about pursuing things? Reoccurring themes or patterns in life that hold you back. So when we have this Bible verse that talks about God searching you and knowing your heart and testing you and knowing your anxious thoughts, this is something that you can take solace in, knowing that God has already known all these things of you. He's already planned these things. And guess what? The other Bible verses still exist that says that God will establish your steps, and for those that take delight in him, he will make firm your steps. And that's the truth. Let's continue. So, next up, we're going to look at the SWOT analysis. That is the SWOT analysis. And guess what? I do have a visual for that. Let's bring it up, shall we? So, the SWOT analysis covers your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, right? So, when it comes to SWOT analysis, the objective is to systematically identify strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats related to finding and living your purpose. And the steps are as follows. You want to draw a grid with 4 quadrants labeled strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, as shown on the shared screen that I have for you right now. Next up, you want to list your strengths, write down personal strengths that help you find and live your purpose, fashion, talents, skills, etc. All right. Next up, you want to identify weaknesses. Note internal weaknesses that might be barriers, such as procrastination, fear of change, etc. Next up, you want to explore opportunities. So, with exploring opportunities, you want to list opportunities that can facilitate your purpose, such as supportive relationships and educational resources. And finally, you want to recognize threats. So, identify external threats or barriers. These would be things like financial constraints and time limitations. So, the final element of SWOT is you want to analyze the results. So, you use the insights to develop strategies for leveraging your strengths and opportunities while addressing your weaknesses and the threats. A Bible verse that speaks to this says, "For which of you intending to build a tower did not sit down first and count the cost, whether he has enough to finish?" Luke 14:28. Hey, guess what? It came back, folks. Because why? You are looking at strengths and you're looking at weaknesses. Strength in it is an asset, weakness is a liability. You are exploring opportunities. You're looking at where things have a chance to grow and where things have an opportunity or a threat of being limited, quelched, muzzled. When you take in this process, what you are doing ultimately is counting the cost. The final exercise to get into is mind mapping. That's mind mapping. I do not have a visual for this, so I will just speak it out to you. Mind mapping has the objective of visually exploring and identifying barriers by mapping out thoughts and ideas. So you want to create a central idea and you want to write my purpose in the center of a large piece of paper. And then you want to branch out branches for different aspects of your purpose, such as your career, personal growth, and relationships. Next up, you want to identify barriers. So now, under each branch, I should have had a visual for this. Under each branch, create sub branches for potential barriers. Now, you want to include internal barriers such as self doubt or fear, and external barriers such as lack of resources or limited time. You want to analyze these connections. So now you want to look for patterns or connections between different barriers. This visual representation can help you understand how different barriers are related. Next up is the part that matters the most. You want to develop solutions. This is where now you want to begin to brainstorm potential solutions or strategies for overcoming each barrier. And you're going to write these down as additional branches. Had to do that because I love talking about solutions more than problems. So, some people that have overcome obstacles, barriers, I want to look at a couple of people and talk about their obstacles, their journey to their purpose, and then how they lived in that purpose. One figure that I want to talk about real quick is the good old man known as one Nelson Mandela. So, Nelson Mandela, prominent South African anti apartheid revolutionary. And he faced many obstacles in his pursuit for justice and equality. Now, he was born into a country that was deeply divided by racial segregation. And his activism against apartheid led to his arrest and imprisonment for 27 years. Ooh, that's some biblical years in prison right there. Oh my goodness. My man Joseph spent what, 30 years in prison? Sheesh. When it comes to, oh wait, Let me hit him with a little. So now we talk about his journey to purpose. So, despite the harsh conditions of imprisonment, Mandela remained a steadfast man in his commitment to ending apartheid and ultimately achieving racial equality. During his time in prison, he continued to inspire his fellow inmates and the broader anti apartheid movement with his resilience and unwavering spirit. When it comes to living in his purpose, after his release in 1990, Mandela played a major role in the peaceful transition of South Africa from apartheid to multiracial democracy. And in 1994, he became the country's first Black president, symbolizing the triumph of his lifelong struggle. Mandela's legacy of courage, forgiveness, and dedication to justice continues to inspire people worldwide. And it demonstrates that perseverance and purpose can overcome even the most formidable barriers. Another person that we have to look at is Nick Vujicic. Nick Vujicic. Good luck saying that, looking it up yourself. So he was born in 1982, and he was born with tetra amelia syndrome, which is a rare disorder characterized by the absence of all four limbs. So growing up, he faced severe physical limitations and emotional challenges, including bullying and depression, which made it difficult for him to find his place and purpose in life. I think this man has a fair reason for those challenges. So despite these challenges though, he discovered a sense of purpose through his faith and a desire to inspire others. He began giving motivational speeches at a young age, and he began to focus on overcoming adversity and finding meaning in life's struggles. His message of hope and resilience resonated with many, which led to him pursuing a career as a motivational speaker and author. So when we look at him living in his purpose, he founded the nonprofit organization Life Without Limbs, and he has traveled over 60 countries, and he delivered powerful speeches which reached millions of people. Now, throughout his books and videos and live events, he's inspired individuals to overcome their own obstacle and to begin fulfilling their lives. So his story highlights the power of inner strength and determination in living a purposeful life, regardless of physical limitations. So, one final thing before I send you guys off for the night. When it comes to purpose, you have to take your first steps today. Define your goals, clarify what matters to you, what principles guide your decisions and actions. Understanding your values lays the foundation for discovering your purpose. After you've defined your values, you have to set small goals. You have to break down your journey into manageable steps. You start with small goals that align with your interests and values, and each achievement builds momentum towards a more purposeful life. And the final thing is to seek support. Share your journey with supportive friends. Notice that word, supportive friends, not all your friends, supportive friends. Not every friend is a supportive friend. That deserves a nice little only your supportive friends. Family and mentors who can provide encouragement and guidance. So, you guys, I gave you 2 warnings in this piece. Share it with supportive friends, families, or mentors. And these people should also be able to provide encouragement, right? Encouragement and guidance. And then you want to connect with communities or resources that offer insights and perspectives on purposeful living. So, as as I have attempted to do my best to emphasize the positive people to go to, not just the general people, that does ultimately conclude this presentation on why purpose is a vital aspect of attraction. In this video, we covered people who live their life with purpose. We covered how men who are purposeful fathers are significant in increasing the odds of children doing better in literally every aspect possible, whether it's socially, mentally, well being, economics, by every metric. A purposeful father drives that up. So go out, become purposeful, practice some of the exercise that were mentioned here. But overall, I'm excited to now be able to say that we have concluded the 7 pillars of attraction that I have had to figure out, navigate myself, burn out on, and in many of them I'm still getting my certain aspects together on, certainly in the purpose part, right? And the truth of the matter is this thing is going to continue to be something that you have to build in, you have to increase your stature in. This entire 30-day challenge was not a challenge that I did with the sole purpose of gaining a bunch of new subscribers and a bunch of watch time hours. This was, I mean, those were long shot goals. But I told my wife clearly, I don't plan for this to get me thousands of watch time hours. The biggest thing that this has done is it's forced me to network with multitudes more of people than I normally would have in a certain amount of time frame, to obtain contacts of people. It's forced me to recognize the holes of my networking, of my follow up process, of my reaching out process, of my scheduling, of the way that I utilize apps. It's forced me to look at the way that I set up the shows so that way I can have people on a regular basis, as well as pivoting so that if a person cancels, now I can meet a much simpler show schedule. Previously, if I had a guest that canceled, I was cooked and I was only releasing 1 or 2 videos when the goal was supposed to be 3 videos a week. Now, by having to release 1 show every single day for 30 days, guess how many call outs I've had? Probably about 15 to 18. With that high volume of call outs, I've had to produce shows within 3 to 5 hours. And a lot of that is because I was still learning processes. Now I know processes. So I say all that to say, even this challenge was uh, remember before, challenging and attainable. It's been super challenging. I'm so tired right now, but it is attainable because it's only 30 days, not 90 days. So allow yourself to step into uncomfortable situations like this. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with some of the results. I have had that visual with the bubble up for so long, darn it. But I truly do hope that you have enjoyed this series on purpose, part 1 and part 2 here, and that these exercises can help. And tomorrow's episode, I am supposed to be having an interview with two gentlemen, one of who I have a lot of favor towards. So I am prayerful that it goes well because I think it'll be a great interview, especially for Friday. So I'm excited about that. But if you found value in this, then it would do me so much favor if you could leave a like on the YouTube. If you're watching this on Instagram or Twitter or some other platform, go to the YouTube, look up Inspired Challenge Podcast, go to the live section of it where all my podcast videos are, and go on to that and leave a like and a comment, and then share this video out to whoever would benefit from watching it. That would help the podcast so much with growth. Thank you guys so much for staying with me. I know people have come on and off. So I hope that you've gotten value from this, that you've enjoyed it, that as much as I was filtering through things and kind of going off the wonks, that it still was able to be enjoyable for you. I'm going to take myself to sleep because it's midnight, probably a little later. So I will see y'all for tomorrow's interview. And I've been your host, Devontae Colonel. And thank you for joining me on another episode of the Inspired Challenge podcast. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Okay, when it comes to, I'm going to end it on Instagram first. Oh man, Instagram always doesn't work for me. I have to figure that out. So that's over. And